Good morning. We're going to get the morning announcement started here in, 7 minutes. Oh my gosh, it is 7 o'clock. I meant just a couple of minutes. Give some people time to get here. I was running a little bit behind on account of, well, I was having technical difficulties this morning, but we should be good here in 2 or 3 minutes. Good morning, Shelby. Good morning, Dark Princess. Or don't forget to hop into the live chat. Don't forget to like this video and comment on it. We're going to get the stream started here very, very soon. Let's do it. It is time for the morning announcements. Morning announcements on the Nightcap with Nightcat YouTube channel. This is the kitsch-minded morning show where we get you ready for the day. I am your host, Nightcat. Thank you so much for being here. We have a good show. It's going to be quick today because I will be filling in on ABC4's Good Things Utah, which is on ABC4, imagine that, from 9 to 11. So make sure that you watch me. I'll be on TV for 2 hours today, baby. You got to get over there. It's very, very fun. It's a good show. You're going to like it. So I'm only doing a few news stories, and we're going to cut Prize Pond because I have to be able to get out of here and get dressed and everything. But doesn't mean we're not going to have a great show anyway. Let's get started, though, with our caterpillars. So here's the thing. Let me just move this fish camera. By the way, did you notice Cosmo over here? Cosmo, this is not about the caterpillars, but this is about the big goldfish named Cosmo. He sits in front of that filter all day long, and he swims like a salmon. He swims like he's trying to salmon back home, and he just can't get enough of it. All day long, he swims against that filter. I think he's trying to filter feed, where it's just like sometimes a piece of food that he didn't eat gets spit out, and then he pulls up quick, and he eats it all. So he cracks me up. It's so funny. All day long, that's all he does. He loves it. Anyway, that's not what we're here for. We're here to talk about caterpillars. Okay. Oh no, what happened? There we go. Whoops, messed that up. Okay, so last night on Nightcap with Nightcat, as I was recording, I noticed that some of our caterpillars were hanging out up at the top, and I thought for sure we were going to have cocoons this morning, but it turns out we don't. Though that guy, not the one at the very front, but the one right behind him kind of hanging onto his tail, he has been on the top of the cup hanging down like that all day. So I'm pretty sure he will be a cocoon. I still think we're gonna have cocoons by the end of the week, but who knows, you know? They could be very surprising. Maybe they don't want to be born. Maybe they're like, ugh, no, I don't want to be a butterfly. Let's see, I'm gonna set that back up for the fish camera. So, if you were here to see cocoons, I'm very sorry. I thought for sure we were gonna get them because they were all hanging out on the lid last night. They were spinning all these little webs. I thought we had it, but they're just teasing us. They're so close. I know we're gonna get cocoons tomorrow. I know it. So stick around. You're not gonna want to miss it. I love the little caterpillars. They're so cute. The other cup, by the way, is finally starting to catch up. So we'll have butterflies from them as well pretty quick. Real quick, let me check in with the chat. Good morning, Cass Cat. Good morning, Marissa, Lindy, Sadie, Nathan, Shelby, Darkbird, Zizor. You're all wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so excited. All right, I think it's time for us then to get into the Morning Mews. The Morning Mews is the part of the show where I go through some pop culture headlines. I get you all caught up so you have something to talk about when you get to work and school today. And I want to get started with Pete Davidson. Pete Davidson from SNL, former Mr. Ariana Grande. Almost. They were engaged. They never actually got married. Well, he was on Jimmy Fallon, and he was telling the story about one time he and Alec Baldwin were on set together, and he could see Pete's body, and he's got a pretty decent body. And so he looks at him, he goes, dude, what's your secret? What do you do? And Pete Davidson's like, I couldn't just look at this man and be like, I'll tell you what I do. I'm not in my mid-50s. I have metabolism. I don't do anything. He's like, I couldn't tell him that because I didn't want to make him feel bad. So I told him that I do 100 push-ups and 100 sit-ups every day. And so apparently, after that, that's when Alec Baldwin started working at SNL a lot more. And every time he would pass Pete in the hallway, he'd be like, 100 a day, 100 a day. And he ended up losing like 100 pounds because Pete Davidson lied to him, which is fine. I think that's a pretty solid lie. But Pete Davidson does not do 100 sit-ups and 100 push-ups. That's just a lie that he tells Alec Baldwin, which again is fine because I think all of us should be lying to Alec Baldwin more often. He's not a good person. All right, moving on to the Parade of Mummies. Check this out. Too cool, too cool. Those are mummies riding around in those fancy luxury vehicles. There's a new Museum of Egyptian Heritage opening in Cairo, and they really want people to come in. They want to increase the tourism numbers. So what they did is they had this big grand opening where they transported their 22 royal mummies in these beautiful like custom limos that are specifically built for mummies. And then they got them all through the streets of Cairo. People could go through and yell and wave as they went from the old museum over to the new one. So it was really cool, but also doesn't that just sound like the start of like an Avengers movie or something? Like, oh, the mummy parade, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, some evil sorcerer reanimates them and they come back to life and they take over the city, and that's when the Avengers have to stop it. Luckily, everything went very well. The mummies were able to move without any problems, and they're in their new homes, it looks like. I'm not sure if that museum is open yet, but if you're on your way to Cairo, maybe double check, see if it's in there. I don't know who's going to Cairo right now, but if you are, congratulations, there's a new museum. And finally, in Bangkok, Thailand, employees at a 7-Eleven were horrified when a giant Asian water monitor broke into their store. Take a look at this. This is absolutely bananas. All right, look at this guy. So Asian water monitors are the second largest lizard in the entire world. They are gigantic. And I guess this guy broke into the 7-Eleven and just started wreaking havoc, tearing apart the shelves, climbing all over everything. So store employees were able to call reptile handlers. The reptile handlers came in and snared him. They picked him up and relocated him somewhere out in the wild. But I sure hope that he got his fill. I hope he got himself a bag of hot Cheetos, because then he could be like a fire-breathing dragon. So handsome. I love monitors. I used to work with monitors back when I was working at Scales and Tails, the reptile exhibitor. And I'll tell you, no one poops and pees more quantity or aggressively than these guys. I have been soaked by water monitors before in front of like 40 fifth graders, and good luck getting their attention back after you've been completely bombed by these giant lizards. But they're still so cute. I want to just flip him over and tickle his belly. And that is the Morning Mews. Before we continue, I would like to really quick plug our Patreon and thank our patrons. Patreon.com/NightCatShow. If you're a patron, you're the reason that we get to do this every day. You and your donations are helping keep this show afloat, helping keep me afloat and in an apartment and with my electricity on. It's only because I have such incredible supportive viewers on the Patreon. Patreon.com/NightCatShow. You can sign up for $3 or $5. It is super cheap. If you have it to spare, I would really appreciate it. I know not everyone does, and that's totally cool. But if you do, that would be awesome. Just check out patreon.com/NightCatShow or visit the link tree in the description of this video. It'll say linktr.ee/JacksonWitt. Click on that. It'll take you not only to the Patreon, but to the True Crime Walking Tours, last night's episode of Nightcap with Nightcat, which was great, by the way, and a few other things. It's a cool link tree. Check that out as well. Patreon.com/NightCatShow. Alrighty. Then I think it's time for us to learn some more fun facts from the book of useless information. This is a different one. I have one called Unusual Knowledge. This one's Useless Information. I love animal facts. So these are some terrifying animal facts. All right. The torpedo ray, which I had never heard of before I read this in this book. The torpedo ray builds up an electric charge in its head, and then when it's hunting, a little fishy will swim by, fishy, fishy, fishy. He grabs it, pumps it full of 200 volts of electricity, and then eats it. Woo! Too spooky. That's cool. I want one now. They're really cool. All right, this is also horrifying. So sand tiger sharks. Sand tiger sharks, they have eggs that hatch inside their body. So they've got a 2-chamber womb, basically, and there are eggs in each side. Well, the eggs will start to hatch inside those chambers, and then the sharks inside the mom will sit there and eat each other. And they'll eat each other till there's only one baby in each chamber, and those are the babies that get to survive, and then the mom has them and swims away, and then they're on their own, which hopefully they're okay hunting because they've been doing it since they were literally in the womb. The African honey badger, he don't care. He doesn't give a crap. If you're not familiar already with the honey badger, you should go ahead and do some Googling, and by that I mean go find the crazy, nasty honey badger on YouTube. It's very funny. It has curse words. Don't watch it with your kids. The African honey badger will fight anything or anyone at any time. They don't care. They'll play. They will throw hands. Its tough hide can resist penetration and most poisons. So here's the thing. These guys eat puff adders, which are very, very venomous snakes. And they'll chase these snakes all over, and they'll get bit by these snakes, and that doesn't faze them at all. Another reason that they are called the honey badger is because they eat honey. And they'll break into beehives and they'll get stung like thousands of times, but they have that thick skin that protects them, and they can just get stung over and over again, just go about eating honey like it's nothing, like it's just another Tuesday at the office. Those things are not playing around. You don't want to come face to face with one. There's also a great documentary, by the way, that you can definitely find on YouTube about a honey badger in South Africa named Stoffel. He was moved to a wildlife preserve and he kept breaking out of his enclosure. And they would set up video cameras and figure out how he was breaking out. This thing was so smart. And he would like break into their kitchen and steal all their food. Stoffel is like my favorite. He's my spirit animal. I love that guy. And finally, so the skin of some toads contain poisons. We kind of know that, right? Don't lick a toad or eat a toad. It could be poisonous. So that means that very few creatures will eat a toad. The exception, one of the major exceptions, is the skunk. Skunks will eat toads, and this is how they do it. They grab the toad, they find a patch of wet grass, and then they just rub the poison off on the grass. So they just roll it around, make sure they get all the poison off, and then they eat the toad. Which I think as kind of gross as that is, still very, very cute. All right, folks. That is the Book of Useless Information. We did the Book of Useless Information. We talked about the Patreon. We did the Morning Mews. We did a Caterpillar update. I'm sure we're going to get cocoons tomorrow. Don't you worry. Let me real quick check in with the chat one more time, see how everyone's doing. Let's see. I'd grab Brendan Fraser before the Avengers at the Mummy Parade. Yeah, you better believe they had Brendan Fraser on standby. What else are they supposed to do? He's the only one that has any experience in this field. Erica, good morning, dear. Happy Friday Eve to you as well, Erica. All right, let's see. We did everything. I think it's time for some fish because I've got to go get ready for the show. Again, I'm going to be on Good Things Utah, ABC4 from 9 to 11. I have to go get dressed and go to pre-show meetings and everything, so we have to cut our show short. But you can still catch me on ABC4, 9 to 11 Mountain Standard Time. You're not going to want to miss it. It's going to be very, very fun. Don't forget to check out Nightcat Radio, the audio from every Nightcat episode, including Morning Announcements and last night's Nightcap with Nightcat. That's all going to be up on Nightcat Radio. So check that out on your favorite podcast directory. I think it's time then to turn it over to the fish. Have a fantastic day. Bye.